Hey, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to be reviewing British Airways Club World Business Class on board the Boeing 777-200ER on my recent flight in April 2025 from London Gatwick Airport to Tampa International Airport in Florida. I'm going to be reviewing the seat, the food and the drink, the amenities, the facilities, and of course, the overall flight experience, including service. Our flight today from Gatwick in London to Tampa in Florida clocks in at just over 7,000 kilometers and takes approximately 9.5 hours. I'm traveling with my family today, which means no airport footage, I'm afraid, straight onto the plane. This is the Boeing 777-200ER that's going to take us to Tampa in Florida. As you can see, the cabin is in a 2-4-2 layout. This is really densely packed for business class and departs from the industry standard of 1-2-1. I was sat in seat 4J, which is an aisle seat on the right-hand side of the cabin. As you can see here, there's plenty of legroom. You're not short of space, although the seat is a little bit on the narrow side for a business class seat. On a 9.5-hour flight, it would have been nicer to have had a little bit more space. The aisle itself is also very narrow due to how many seats they put on each row. The major downside of this configuration is that the window seats actually take off backwards. And therefore, because this partition has to go down for takeoff and landing, you're effectively looking directly into the face of the seat next to you. It's fine once the partition goes up, but for takeoff and landing, it's kind of awkward if you don't know the person. Do you see what I mean? You're staring right at them, and on this flight, I didn't know the person sat in that seat, so it was a little bit weird. Anyway, the crew came around shortly after boarding and took our pre-flight drink order. I went for an orange juice. I'm very pleased to say, probably a little bit too pleased, that post-COVID, British Airways now does paper menus again. A full bar is offered on this flight, including cocktails, mocktails, spirits, beers, and soft drinks. 2 meal services are offered, although it would be more accurate to call it one full meal and a snack before you land, but I'm going to review these fully later on in the video. In addition to the alcoholic drinks previously mentioned, a number of wines are also available, including champagne, English sparkling wine, and various white, red wines and ports. The seats are controlled by these manual buttons on the right, which are fairly intuitive and self-explanatory. The in-flight entertainment is controlled by this remote control, which admittedly looks very dated. There is, however, a USB-A style power socket for you to charge your devices. Under the seat, there is a storage compartment, which comes pre-filled with your in-flight amenity kit and a bottle of water. You can also store a limited number of personal belongings here. The amenity kit is provided by the English company, The White Company. I'm personally not too fussed about these sort of things, but it's nice to see a local brand being supported. The amenity kit contains all the staples you would expect, like eye shades, earplugs, a lip balm, an eye cream, toothbrush and toothpaste, and a pillow spray filled with lavender scent to help you sleep. I'm not sure why lavender is meant to help you sleep, but it's a thing. I've seen it before. One negative I will say is that the in-flight entertainment screen is a fold-out screen. As this needs to be folded away for takeoff and landing, you can't watch the in-flight entertainment during this time. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, please subscribe. We began our pushback from the gate, and they played the in-flight safety video as we taxied.
I must confess a sentiment of the most tender nature. Welcome everyone. We will now demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft, and your attention is essential, as this may be different from any aircraft that you've flown before.
Do I smell the winds of war? I see smoke on the horizon.
Smoking, including e-cigarettes, vaping, and the use of other smoking devices, is not permitted at any time whilst on board, including the toilets, which have smoke detectors in them.
Gerald, it's you. For too long I've kept my true feelings hidden, but now...
Personal devices should have the flight safe mode feature enabled now.
Handheld devices must be held securely or placed into a pocket.
What witchcraft is this?
touching? It moves. Larger devices, including laptops, must be switched on and placed in your luggage for takeoff and landing. Please unplug your device.
It may be behind you. Opening the doors automatically inflates the evacuation slides.
High heel tubes must be removed as they may tear the slide.
All this important information can be found on your safety card. This includes
If you have a footstool or a video screen, please store these there.
a letter, gentlemen.
What is this?
I believe it's a safety card.
Please have a good look at your safety card before we depart. And if you have any questions, just ask your cabin crew.
And as always, wherever you go, whomever you see, stay safe.
Look after one another.
And never change.
Is it a winged creature?
Yeah. Or perchance a celestial contrivance navigating the skies?
No, ma'am. That's a British Airways A350.
Let me know in the comments what you think of the in-flight safety video. I personally love it. It's quirky, but in a good way. Anyway, time for takeoff. I'll speed this up so as not to bore you. And just like that, we were cruising. Forgive the fact I have to take a very awkward angle of the window. I wasn't in a window seat. Give the seat its credit. I mean, its limited credit. There actually is a ton of legroom here. You can stretch out fully, even if you're reasonably tall. It's just the layout I can't get over. I'd rather have slightly less legroom, but fewer seats per row. This really is how directly you're looking onto the seat next to you. However, once the seatbelt signs go off, this thing goes up, and it completely protects you privacy-wise from the passenger next to you. They're frosted, so you can see a vague outline, but that's about it. The headphones are British Airways' own brand headphones and are noise cancelling. They're padded, so they were pretty comfortable to wear. I had no issues on a 9.5-hour flight. Having reached our cruising altitude, I decided to go into the toilets to take a look. As you can see here, there's a baby changing table, and they're a decent size. The toiletries were also provided by the White Company and smelled good and were of a high quality. The toilets were clean and well appointed, although it was a shame to see they didn't have any extra touches like some airlines do, like putting a flower in or something, just anything to differentiate it from the economy toilets. But they were clean and had what you needed for the flight. I was also pleased to see that the curvature of the aircraft doesn't impact on the toilet at all. You're not going to be hitting your head on this thing like you are on some smaller aircraft. When I returned to my seat, the crew brought round our pre-meal drink. I went for a Diet Coke, and the crew also gave a small bag of salted rosemary nut mix. About half hour later, the first course was served. For starter, I had the smoked salmon. This was just kind of okay. I mean, it was plain, undressed smoked salmon, and they'd sort of chopped up some salmon on the left and given a creme fraiche on the right. This salad, however, was out of this world. I don't know what dressing they put in it, but it was delicious. It was served with a hot bread roll and butter. This salad was so good that I actually went back to take some footage of it halfway through eating it. Seriously, if all quote-unquote healthy food could taste like this, I swear I would eat so much better than I do. Really great flavour and tasty without being overwhelming. For my main course, I went for the lamb rump. Overall, again, this was pretty good. The lamb wasn't overcooked, it came with a really tasty sauce, and the vegetables next to it were nicely cooked. British Airways has made a real effort to improve its catering in its business and first class cabins, and it shows. For dessert, I went for the cheese board. This came with 3 large chunks of brie, red Leicester and Stilton, and came with various accompaniments like nuts, dried apricots, some kind of chutney and 4 biscuits. Overall, this was a decent cheese board and a very nice way to round out the meal. Having finished my meal, All there was to do was to sit back in my seat and watch some of the in-flight entertainment as we made our way to Tampa. As you can see here, by the time the meal was finished, we were about 4 hours into our flight, and there was 5 hours 20 minutes remaining. This is a day flight, so I'm going to be awake for most of it. After about an hour, I needed a little pick-me-up, so I ordered a cup of coffee. This was served just as is. There was nothing like biscuits provided, although I'm not sure if you could have requested this, but it wasn't proactively offered. With about an hour and 40 minutes to go, I was beginning to wonder when they were going to serve a second meal. I mean, they hadn't even taken the orders by this point. The answer to that question, quite surprisingly, is with only an hour to go until landing. I really don't know why they left it so late to service. Everyone basically had to shove it in their mouths and have their tray taken away. For what it's worth, taste-wise, it was pretty good. It's a steak sandwich. It's hard to go wrong with that. I just wish it had been served a little bit earlier so that we weren't rushed to eat it before landing. I swear this tray was only on my table for about 20 minutes. Having finished my meal, I sat back and watched the plane fly over Florida as we made our approach into Tampa Airport. The pilot came on the in-flight speaker and told us we were beginning our descent. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the in-flight entertainment has to be folded away for landing, so unfortunately I wasn't able to watch any of it, and I just periodically looked out of a window. As before, I will speed up the landing so as not to bore you. We disembarked quickly, and I got one final shot of the 777-200 that took us to Tampa. I had one of the quickest immigration experiences I've ever had in my life at any airport, let alone an American airport. I'm not even kidding, it took like 10 seconds. I handed my passport over, he took a quick look and handed it back to me. Welcome to America. And just like that, I got in my taxi to go to my hotel. Look, in conclusion, if you've watched any of my other British Airways review videos, a number of which will be linked at the end of this one, so stick around, you'll know I'm not a fan of the 242 layout or the fact that you stare at your seatmate for takeoff and landing in their Club World product. Thankfully, British Airways has changed to a 1-2-1 configuration on their latest Club Suites product, but this is only available on a limited number of routes. The food and the drink were good. Like I said, British Airways have made a real effort to upgrade their catering, and it does show. All of the catering I've had on British Airways flights in the past couple of years has been consistently good. I don't think I've had a bad meal. As for the service, the crew were actually pretty good on this flight, at least by BA standards, and I do have to qualify it because British Airways is not known for its service. It would have been average at best on an airline like Qatar or Emirates or Singapore Airlines, but for British Airways, this was one of their better crews. I have no real complaints. I did find it somewhat bizarre that the second meal service was served only an hour before landing. I'm not sure if it was taking a bit longer to heat up than they were expecting, but surely this can't have been planned. Overall, this was a comfortable and enjoyable flight, with decent food, decent service, and the time did fly by. Pun very much intended. British Airways doesn't have much competition on the Tampa route from London, but I liked this flight. I would take it again.